Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, Chiwempala. Good evening, Chirilabombwe. And lastly, but not the least, good evening, Kabwata, where we are getting updated results from the Kabwata by-election. And it looks like the United Party for National Development's Andrew Tayengwa is leading by a very insurmountable lead. Now with us here is Mr. Andrew Butcher, member of the UPND and part of the foot soldiers of the party that witnessed this by-election and its campaigns in Kabwata. Mr. Butcher is also part of the TV Bakwetu family, and so we are going to have a discussion about what is going on. Mr. Andrew Butcher, good evening.
Good evening, Ilas. Good evening, viewers. Good evening, Kabwata. Good evening, Chirabombo, of course. My hometown. And good evening, Zambia.
Andrew Butcher.
Good morning.
Are you in Kabwata or you are in Chirabombo?
No, I'm in Woodlands Extension, which is just a 15 minutes walk into Kabwata constituency. It's about 5 minutes.
What is going on in Kabwata tonight?
It's quiet. We're all just anxiously waiting for the results and waiting for our candidate to be sworn in as a member of parliament, to be elected member of parliament for Kabwata. That's all of us haven't slept. That's what we're all waiting for. Otherwise, Kabwata is relatively quiet. People are just glued to their phones, TVs, and just following the updates. And basically, that's what is happening right now.
All right. So sorry about that. I think my broadcast was interrupted for some reason. Now, I do see here that the journey to this by-election has been extremely long. And so tonight, we would like to first of all acknowledge that this by-election came as a result of the passing of the area member of parliament for Kabwata. His name was Levi Mkandawire, who died in very, very controversial circumstances. What was said was Mr. Levi Mkandawire, Honorable Levi Mkandawire, had just gotten out of his vehicle when he parked his car at his residence. He walked out to
He's
try and
actually my
open.
neighbor. He's actually my neighbor. He stays 3 houses from where I stay.
Oh no. So he walked out trying to open the gate. When a vehicle that was coming from the opposite direction lost control, pushed the vehicle that he had parked, and then crashed him against the wall.
The wall,
he died. He died. And so our condolences to the family, and we continue mourning the passing of Honorable Levi Mkandawire, and may he so rest in peace. And because of his passing, that's when now we had to go to this by-election, and this is what brings us here. Andrew, you say that he's your neighbor. Do you know
yes,
how
it's
the
3
family?
houses. Yes, it's 3 houses away from where I stay. Heading up.
Do you know how his family?
Sorry, you're breaking.
Yeah. I think my network keeps skipping for some reason. I'm back now. Yeah. Anyway, that's what happened, and so we continue to observe and to remember Honorable Levi Mkandawire. And so this is what led now to this by-election in Kabwata. Kabwata went to President Haga in the Hislema, and the UPND candidate in the previous election is Levi Mkandawire. But of course, that is the sad news of what happened. And so from that time, Andrew, you were very close to the events that were happening. How did the campaign go?
Yeah, the campaign started off well, but it looks like it didn't have so much of an impact in the beginning until the last 7 days when the president stepped in and the vice president stepped in. Then we saw a number of key players coming into Kabwata to campaign and drum up support for the candidate. So I think that's what helped us. The last 7 days, I think, has been had a major impact on this election. Otherwise, without maybe the president and vice president coming in and other players, we are going to see a different story. Because Clement is relatively...
So you were saying that Clement is relatively popular? Is that what you are trying to say?
Yeah, he's popular, and he's been in Kabwata. He's the one who was distributing money during the PF government. He was in charge of that presidential empowerment fund. So he threw out a lot of cash. He campaigned against Given Luvinda, lost as independent, but he did slightly better than us. He came out number 2 actually against Luvinda. So he had a fairly better chance. And
Number 2 against Luvinda.
And
In which election?
I think not I think 2016. 2016.
Oh, okay. So he was all right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what you are thinking is that it was pretty tough. That's what you are saying, that it was pretty tough until the president stepped in, and you think that may have helped a lot.
It had a boost because people now, that's when they begin to understand who Hakainde Hichilema is and what it really meant for the Zambian people. We have that photo where he was standing next to a woman who was dressed in a UPF Chitenge material. That one is classic. That one would have never done UPF. So those are some of the indicators probably that helped us, that this man actually means well. He might be UPND, might be president, he doesn't condone violence, There's no throwing of money in Kabwata. There's no DMMU in Kabwata distributing meal. There was nothing of that sort. It was merely a peaceful election, very peaceful. There were a few instances of violence, but not as much as it was in the previous regime. I think we managed to contain the violence, and we all campaigned freely. We moved around freely. We spoke to people. We told them why we needed to continue that kind of for
All right.
continuity.
Now, Andrew, there was this the fact that this by-election was moved, right? Now, some are saying that if the by-election had been held at the original date, it would have been very difficult for the UPND candidate. Is that the case?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right.
We
But
would have still gone out there.
But you've said that what made the difference was the last 7 days.
Yeah, the last 7 days was a bit critical in that the president was literally, he was actually there almost every day, and he made sure the message reached almost everybody in Kabwata. The message was well articulated, and people got the message. And those that were even thinking of voting against Taingwa had a second thought and probably thought, no, let's give this government a chance. Let's give them a chance to deliver. Then we remove them, and then we bring in a new person whom we don't know, and then we cut off whatever development that would have come to Kabwata. But I think Aka engaged them. I mean, it's well for the people of Kabwata. All
right. So the Kabwata updates: 98 polling stations out of 131, UPND 18,986, PF 13,569. 98 polling stations out of 131. Now, I'm getting these updates from Honorable Hudson Mabeta's Facebook page. And the reason is because we believe that Honorable Hudson Mabeta's page is much more authentic. And then he says 122 polling out of 131, UPND 19,998, PF 17,453. Now, this is a little bit scary in the sense that the PF appear to have gained significant votes to lead to a difference of about 2,500. At least from what Honorable Hudson Mabeta is reporting. So the difference right now is 2,500 votes between UPND and PF, according to Honorable Hudson Mabeta. And so the only constituencies remaining are about 11.
11, come on.
Yeah, 9 polling stations that are remaining. I don't foresee any situation that they are going to pull through, that the PF is likely to pull in 9 polling stations. I don't see it.
I don't see it.
But it appears like the UPND is still leading and may have in fact scooped this seat. By the time that we are done with our broadcast tonight, we are going to be sure, and we will be following. We'll be getting Honorable Hudson Mabeta's updates. Anyway, those are the updates. So those are the updates that we have at the moment, with the UPND maintaining the lead. I was in Kabwata myself 2 days ago. Was that 2 days ago or 3 days ago? I can't remember. I did join the president. As he was campaigning, and it was a long walk. I think the president is quite fit. Because for you to walk like that, you have to be fit. So we walked from the SDHH up to the cultural village.
Yeah.
But this is not just like straight walking. It's you walk here, you see this person, and the pressure of crowd. That was
wandering around.
We went to Kabwata Cultural Village and then came out to around the Cash and Carry. Is that the Kabwata shopping place? Yeah, we walked up to there. and then saw the
Kwata
president.
shopping center.
Yeah, and saw the president off. It was quite an interesting campaign, and I did see for myself the enthusiasm that the president infused into the campaigns, and I have no doubt that his presence there. I had also visited
Yeah,
with
made a very big difference.
yeah, I had also visited with the campaign point there where I met Honorable Tomijelo and some of our friends like Richard Silavwe and several other guys that were there, and Landa Mulima and several other campaign operatives. It was I think very clear that the UPND was going to scoop this, and we can only wish them all the best. Do you have anything to say, Andrew?
Yeah, I think we can only wish the UPND all the best. But remaining 9 constituencies, I don't see these guys recovering from them. Despite they've put up a very good fight, because all of them camped in Kabwata, the likes of Mao Sampa, this Bowman Lusambo, Mwinawachi they were all in Kabwata there. I think the whole the whole battalion of PF, the whole battalion, they were all just camped there trying to upset and see if they could do a comeback. But we put up a very good fight there in Kabwata. We put up a very good fight. I think at the end of the day, we still carry the day.
All right. Okay. And we have Miss Bulanda Kambombi. Hello, hello. Do you have any results for us from Kabwata?
Good evening, Wakwetu.
Good evening. Do you have any? We are discussing the Kabwata results. So we are following the page of
Yes, bawina my elections mbebalera GC.
But we are following. Oh no, Miss Bulanda, I think yeah. Mbebalera GC. Are you back? Have you laughed enough?
Bawina my elections bawina my elections mbebalera GC.
That's definitely agreed.
Yes.
That's definitely. So we are monitoring Honorable Matson Maveta's updates. We are still at 19,998 for UPND and 17,457 for the PF. Now, some people were saying that there is voter apathy in Kabwata. With these results, I don't think this is voter apathy at all. What do you think, Andrew?
There actually is. Yeah, because looking certain polling stations, they were not as crowded as they were during the last 2021 elections. Because somewhere they tried, there were no people in some polling stations. So maybe it's the day that was picked for this by-election. It could have an effect. Some others preferred to go to work and go and line up and vote for a candidate. They didn't care whoever won, whether UPND won, PF won, didn't make a difference to them. So voter outpass was there. Because there were certain.
But the numbers.
Those numbers are little.
No,
You've seen the total number of votes cast. Have you seen the total number of votes cast there? They are less than 45. They are less than 45,000.
Yes, but in a by-election, if you get 45,000 out of 110,000, that's pretty good. In a by-election.
But are they 45? I doubt if they're 45. Because according to you're saying 19,000 plus for UPND, then there's a 17,000 plus. So you're talking of less than 40,000. Then you guys are what zero over if it's 0,000. So the only two people that have got slightly have got very high votes are those two people in front. The rest of those, Uncle T is below 100. The other guys, I don't even want to waste my time talking about them. So it's less than 40,000 votes. May look slow.
Okay.
Yeah, because you look at the election,
but when I heard from some people that there is voter apathy, I thought that it's going to be less, like 20% or 30% voting turnout. This looks good. I know it's not the best, it's not perfect, but for a by-election, if we are sitting 40,000 or 45,000 out of 110,000, that is still good.
We are still under 50%, though. We're still below, maybe 45, 30, 40, about 40% voter turnout.
Yeah, that's understandable. Don Oscar, are you there?
I'm here.
So, Don Oscar, we have the Kabwata by-election that is going on right now, and the counting has begun. We are following the updates from Honorable Hudson Mabeta's page. And with 9 polling stations remaining, it appears like the UPND's lead has shrunk to only 2,500 votes.
Yeah. I think, hello, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Munsha, and good evening also, Andrew, and all the viewers. Mr. Munsha, I think it was
Can't hear.
Kabwata.
Please unmute your mic.
Can you hear me?
I think he hasn't unmuted his mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Don Oscar, we can hear you.
All right. Now, I was saying, good evening. In any case, good evening to everyone, Mr. Munsha and Andrew, and all the viewers. Mr. Munsha, I think what you deduced, because I have my nephew in Kabwata, he stays in Kabwata, and my nephew is working in the Ministry of Finance, spokesperson in the Ministry of Finance, actually. And
don't tell us anything more then. If
no,
he's a spokesperson,
nothing else, nothing more, nothing, just like that. So I was following as well the voting system, and I think I will side by what you have said. I thought it was going to be very bad at the beginning. Really, the turnout it looked as if it was going to be very, very, very bad. But I think it wasn't that miserable. Yeah, being a by-election, it wasn't miserable. And what I wanted to say, Mr. Munsha, was I personally, I think, thanks to the president himself, and he did a great job, because our candidate, if put together, I think with the PF, he was not that much popular. That was my observation, and I think he just stood on a party which is quite very good, and we have a president with all the merit that he deserves. Really, the president did a great job, and we are thankful for that.
Okay. All right, thank you. We're still watching Honorable Hudson Mabeta's page in order for us to see the collation of results, because he's working very hard collecting these results from the polling stations. The final result, we need to caution our viewers, the final result is going to be declared at the totaling center. But these are cumulative totals of all the polling stations using PVT. So those are the updates that Honorable Hudson Mabeta is giving us. With 122 polling stations out of 131. So most likely here, the situation we have here is that we have 9 polling stations remaining, and the difference is 2,500 votes. We need to be slightly cautious here, because 2,500 votes is not much. Even if we know that UPND has scooped this seat, has most probably scooped this seat, we just want to see the next update from Honorable Hudson Mabeta for us to have an idea of the PVT calculation, how
Mr. Musha had a question. Can I pose that question?
Yes, please.
I heard that the candidate for PF launched a complaint. Probably also Andrew might be in position to give us what was the reason. But what do you think about this complaint? Because I understand he complained of harassment from the UPND cadres. What do you think about this?
Harassment, what does that even mean? What does harassment mean? Harassment where? Harassment how? Has he elaborated?
He hasn't elaborated, but he had a very funny statement, and there were some journalists there. And thanks enough, there was one of the I think responsible for guarding the voting perimeters, and they told them to move away from the area. But this guy issued an interview, and there were some journalists around him. Whilst voting was going on, he issued this interview by complaining that, according to himself, there were some sort of violence from the UPND cadres. So that's why I wanted to ask you this question. I don't know. He has launched to the police a complaint. I don't know what that means.
Okay, we'll follow up. We'll follow up on that. Yeah. Thank you. We'll follow up on that. Andrew, are you aware of any complaints that have been lodged against any person by the PF candidate?
These guys have been complaining ever since, because the first was a complaint that he was going to petition the elections, and then that one he disputed it after a few days. And then today I saw something on one of the pages, I think it's a Daily Mail, where he was actually trying to seek audience with the IG over some complaint, whether harassment or something like that, but I didn't follow it in detail. But I'm aware that he was at the force headquarters today, according to Daily Mail report that was posted on the Daily Mail page.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
okay.
only complaint somewhere else.
I think we are going to follow it up and see what the final result is. But it appears like the UPND is leading, at least the lead right now from unofficial results from polling stations is about 2,500 votes. About 2,500 votes. That's the lead at the moment, with 9 polling stations remaining. Now, it appears like the 9 might be very big polling stations, and so we are not sure yet how those are going to turn out, and so we cannot declare who, in our own way, declare or say definitively if UPND has won or not. So we are waiting for a little bit more updates, and then we are going to let you know as our viewers today. However, I'm going to go to some of the comments that people are giving us, and then we are going to continue looking at the results. Of course, for now, we can safely say that UPND is leading. The margin right now is 2,500 votes, so we'll see how it goes. Shekaina Mafuta says that the by-election for Kabwata it couldn't have been for the president HH to campaign for this guy. He couldn't have won the election. In short, most people have voted for him, not because they love him, but for the sake of the president. I think that's understandable that many people have voted because of the president. That's understandable, and that's what an election is. Sometimes people vote for the party, sometimes they vote for the candidate, and sometimes they vote for the president, for the leader of the party. So we'll see what are the other comments. Kabwata is something new. Chikonko Mwika the season. Okay, that's Nosiku Situmbeko. Nosiku Situmbeko, thank you for that update. Mundia Junior, UPND should be careful when selecting a candidate next time. They chose a very weak candidate and could have costed them that seat. All right, that's interesting. They say that it was a very bad candidate. I don't know, but some people think that he was a very bad candidate. I wouldn't comment on that, on whether he was a bad candidate. Vamunsha, why haven't you been responding to my messages? Even Chimunya Limbo. I've not been responding to your messages. Which messages, Nove? Eh? Where did you send them? Was it WhatsApp or was it Facebook? Or how did you send the messages? Where? Okay. So what you do is, if it's WhatsApp, keep pushing the message up. Okay. Keep writing me something so that the message comes up. I have several messages on WhatsApp, and I don't have impia which to hire a personal assistant. For a personal assistant, talk about it is me responding. It's my PA. Okay, but for now, I have like 1,300 messages that are still outstanding. Very, very tough. Very tough. Tom Michelo Matero is saying Andrew Butcher. I don't know why he's calling you out, Andrew. Any reason why Honorable Tom Michelo is calling you out?
He's my brother. He's my brother in the struggle.
Yeah, I met him at
I'll call
the
you
command.
brother. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the picture you took with him.
Yeah, I met him there. All right, and we have more comments here. From supposedly successful immigration lawyer in Alberta or job seeker in Zambia, if HH gives this guy a job, I'm done. He did no more than we did in the ground. Someone has something to chew with me. Lyrical Souls, who are you? You don't even have a name. Lyrical Souls. Just take it easy, wemwaume. Lyrical Souls. Inga ulimwaume nangu ulimwana kashpantu tatuishi. So you just need to chill. Yeah? Mbale tuwebeshi napakuwa tituishi bati ninani nangu. Nampakuwa liwakupata omuntu ifi. Nga nishi nako chita. Nindo nako chita. Alaboafia. There is no all the people who fought for this liberty fought equally, and everyone is appreciated. So Lyrical Souls, I want you to know that the United Party for National Development, the New Dawn government, and this new revelation greatly appreciates your efforts. Greatly appreciates your efforts, and whatever you did in moving the corrupt people was good. Now, do not turn your attention against other colleagues that you fought with, because usually nga mwawina kula bat mwatampo kula mwaponona mwawina. Ero nombe instead ya kwa much te focus on development mwatampo kula iponona mweka. So we need to avoid that. One for Lyrical Souls. So namo no kwa iwe you won, you did very well. Number you are turning against other colleagues in the struggle. That is not the right thing to do. And when you say that you are done with what? Lyrical Souls. Mwirakwate chipiu yo. At yom kwaipantu. Ero number wa ye chipiu. Don't do that. We are one country. We are one people, one political movement. I'm not saying one party because it's bigger than just a party. One political movement. And each one of us contributed. And so ngaraptira niwe sonta. I'll greatly appreciate. Number if you are setting number to turn against each other, that is not the right thing to do. On immigration law, ninchito chale. Yeah. Now, Njolomole Mutonga, Dr. Elias Musha, thank you. We see your fingerprint on many important matters in this country. Okay. Imagine, just previously, Liriko Sozalentoka, Iwe Wamba Kokuntasha. It's very confusing on Facebook at times. But today it's Kabwata that is our focus. And we are looking at Honorable Hudson Maveta's updates. We are still remaining with 9 polling stations. That are yet to...
I understand that there has been some changes at ECZ way of doing things, but if we have had in these polling stations in Kabwata less than what was expected, how come it becomes so complicated to have results in a very short period of time? Mulemwana-chan, what do you think?
Yeah, Kabwata is supposed to report. The only thing is, Kabwata is one of the most urban. Okay, I need to be careful when I say urban constituencies. It's one of the most Mayadi constituency in the country, if not the most Mayadi constituency. I think that's what everybody can understand. It's the most Mayadi of all constituencies.
Yes.
Some on the copper belt, like in Changa, is also quite a Mayadi constituency, but in Changa does have some Kombonies. So unlike Kabwata, so we expect results to come out very quickly in Kabwata, and this is just 23 hours, and we are almost done. So I think it's something positive. I think it should have been quicker, but it will take some time. We don't know who the 9 polling stations are. We don't know who the 9 polling stations are, but it appears like they might be big polling stations. So hopefully before the hour runs out, we'll be able to have a picture of uncertainty of the victory. But these numbers, are...
I hoped that when they changed the logo and they changed it for the better, I thought also probably even the way of doing the system, working on the system, it was going to change quite quickly. I hope that can happen in the future.
Was that logo even better?
I'm telling you.
1 million Kwacha logo.
1 million Kwacha logo. Which I was going to do. Mr. Munsha was going to do it in. If I thought the government was going to give me some money, $10,000, I was going to do it.
All right.
Yeah.
So we have Professor Kasonso. Professor Kasonso, we have a by-election in Kabwata. The latest collation of results, the letter shows that we have 9 constituencies remaining from unofficial results. And the difference is 2,500. In order for the UPND, the PF candidate to edge out the UPND candidate, he needs to win by at least 250 votes in every one of these polling stations.
And what margin has he been winning has he been winning over the UPND candidate in the other polling stations?
Okay, so here is the thing. It doesn't matter because the only difference is 2,500. So before we even get an idea of the 122 polling stations that have reported or that have unofficially reported, is it realistic?
No, actually, in a relationship, I'm dependence on much. I'm going to PF. So, ndelo lela fyokwe wati kuyo kuwina ndelo mbike funa kalwimbo kandi ukwe watu wasika PF na ndelo tu wasika echo na konka pana nishimina computer It's nice mkusika PF. Vapombo mwapleni avavucha. Vapombo mule mwakosero kuita vamusha ati Mr. Akanenu kadicherevesa kadichinje nikandokota mule vika kondokota.
Ala kwena mwandini kwena nalombe ubwelelo badokota. Nalombo kwelelo kwena ala mule twamona fira mwaichefe bamuisha wesu fira mwaichefe twamona kwati na kalimo nomba sikwena ala kwena Dr. Mwalanda win Dr. Muisha, thank you.
Kona wino.
Emkwai
Munenunga nafimba kwa kabulangeti pala noti kufumanya hapo kabulangeti mwabika pona kabulangeti. Iwa kwetu fwe bene fwe balientui fwe balientui mwali kampena kukabwata nifutu kwete chipu shonomba vamusha nindanda nebo nipundipuire nomba nebo nikuwete chipu sio kabili mwale kampena koliana vakateka mwene shani atmosphere shani background yoko
awe no awo kuina vale wina mwe yeah
ngawa vaposa pamashuya kwati PF Gent
Cassius mulingula shishi baba bika po ka thing aka ni bamwelwa bamwe akaposa pwaka.
Sorry, I was reading it. I bring it back on?
Yes, please. Interesting. So at PF gained about 4,000 votes in additional 24. Oh, baff me up.
Oh, well.
Sorry.
Now it's like the project of my elections. We're a media house. We can't project before they announce.
No. Kutsuwapanga. Like I number 9 polling stations ya Shereko. Kange tureko nkaba Hudson Maveta. Elo ba Hudson Maveta is one of us. So Hudson Maveta ngalakutira balando kwe bati how it looks like na ikakanavane.
Yeah.
Unless if the remote stations are very big. Ayakobata badependa bwangu.
So vapenda kwakashita. It's just there. It's in real time. Kabili. Vapenda na maboko. Vapenda pa computer.
So some people are blaming the candidate because our candidate was not too good, too strong, but I don't think so.
Well, Munchat, I think it's true. I've been just sending some messages in codes, and I think our candidate wasn't that much a strong candidate. But of course, he stood on a platform and on a party which is really enjoying the sympathy of many of the Zambians, and especially Hakainde Hichilema as a president, as a person, is quite a genius. Right. I said myself, I've said, I think in the future, if Zambia we are proud of ourselves, in the future, Hakainde Hichilema will be one of those individuals in Zambia who needs to study. To give the young people to study and to see how you can become successful from the bottom line and really you reach the apex in society. Well, it's quite that candidate,
yeah. So for those that are joining us, this is TV Bakwetu, and we are monitoring the Kabwata election results right now, and we are monitoring particularly the updates from Honorable Hudson Maveta, who is in Kabwata right now, and he is helping to coordinate the unofficial results. Right now, we have 9 polling stations from the unofficial collation that Honorable Hudson Maveta is doing. We have 9 polling stations that are still remain outstanding, but the difference is 2,500. 2,500 between the UPND candidate and the PF candidate. Of course, it is too close for comfort. And so We are going to give you a better projection once we see if more polling stations report. Then we are going to give you an idea of where things are at the moment. But there are several things that are being said here that the president did help a lot to prop up the candidate whom some people perceived to be weak. I don't share that idea. I know Bapombo shares different ideas, but I don't. If you are receiving us here on TV Bakwetu, send us stars, subscribe to our channel, subscribe to our Facebook pages and send stars. Because in order for TV Bakwetu to continue doing what it does, we need you to partner with us. Because we don't have any sponsor, we don't have any commercial advertisers. And in fact, if anything, commercial advertisers cannot find it very easy to come, particularly to this flagship program, because we are too political, and so they don't want to be associated like that. So we depend upon your goodwill, your goodwill, so that none of these commercial houses are going to buy us off. We want to continue remaining independent. Yeah, are we independent? Are we independent?
Why do I feel that's a loaded question? Are we independent? I thought we were.
We are independent, but we are not neutral.
Oh, we are independent but not neutral. I like that one. Okay. So the update is still the same. 122 polling stations out of 131. UPND is leading with 19,998. PF is at 17,453. 9 polling stations remaining. Even if we say that we give the PF candidate 200 votes over the UPND candidate, he still will not make it to beat. Okay, so maybe if we say 250 per polling station, he would still fall short. And so we can safely lean towards a very tight race that favors the United Party for National Development's Andrew Tayengwa. A very tight race. There'll be a lot that is going to be discussed about why we should have this tight race in Kabwata at a later stage, but for now, we recognize that that it is a tight race. So you had asked about what I found when we were doing campaigns with His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. It was a very interesting experience in the sense that he was there, available to the people, mingling with the people, lots of security around, and yet he is this simple president wanting to interact with people and telling them, because I was very close to where he was the whole way. He was telling them to vote for Andrew Tayengwa, UPND candidate. So you'll be like, yes, vote for the UPND candidate. Now, I must be very clear that with this close election, it means that had it not been for the president taking time and going to campaign, this result would have been very different.
Yeah, it looks neck and neck to me. It looks neck and neck, really neck and neck.
Yeah, this is neck and neck. Anyway, but I think Tayengwa was also damaged by these false allegations that he's a foreigner. This is pretty concerning that people can spread such malicious words against a citizen of our country. Okay, but he's a foreigner. No. It is very offensive kuba visa because Tayengwa is visa. Ba visa. Or
really?
Appropriately called visa. Yes. Bamayo. Abafiala.
Vamuishana mwevo. Okay, apama elections natupuisha. Vamuishana mwena. Avavisa. Tavarande chivemba kabidi mwevo.
Chivemba tulanda.
Nishna vamwelwa visa abo basuka.
Vatayengwa.
Tavarande chivemba.
Awe.
Awe.
Imwe. etire
Muchi umuntu
pano
sakatulanda twande chinyanja.
in Bemba, he spoke in Nyanja, he spoke in English right here on TV Bakwet.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
And
So
we
we can't say he was a weak candidate, but what we can say is that he was a damaged candidate by that quip. Yeah.
But why would they damage him? You know, I don't understand, because it's very concerning. Okay?
Yeah, it is concerning, Mamusha. You're right. It is concerning, but you know.
Varimutatu ni Airtel, vaini Airtel vatengwa, then Clement Tembo vaini Zamtel. So it's Zamtel. Which network do support? Is it Zamtel, which is Zambian, or Airtel, which is foreign?
European FM.
Yeah, it reached that extent.
So what they what do we call it here in the US? Quite a phrase to America. If I'm guys, but I hope President Ali category
But again, what had happened was, you know how politicians are, they'll just throw whatever mud. It's like mudslinging. So whatever they can throw at you to try and discredit you. I'm a politics. They don't.
Politics fair concern. Ngakuya kubasangire ko muri cheketeriwe barapoza kala kene patron kene ko bakola campaign na.
So maybe it's just the nature of politics.
Yeah.
I don't think he was necessarily a weak candidate. I just think that the narrative of him coming from Zimbabwe was so forwarded.
Yeah.
And people were using it already in Zambia were quite racist. Let's just admit the fact that we're very racist.
Tribalist.
And both tribalist and racist, despite the fact that we are all, even the separation of the borders is so questionable. It's the same tribe across the border. And then for you to get a little ticked off and say, well, he's from Zimbabwe, and then it holds weight. And it did hold weight because people were using the whole Zamtel and Airtel thing. So I highly doubt he was a weak candidate. He was just mad. And I think the PF are very good at forwarding anything tribalistic, and it holds water in a lot of places. And that's what they used.
Yeah.
By the time that we were reversing that, it was pretty tough, right? Because we emphasized that his mother is Visa. And that is what we needed to emphasize. And so this is perhaps a lesson to future political strategists, is that nationality does come up a lot in Zambian politics. Huge. Who hasn't been accused of being a foreigner one way or another? You know, some people may not know this, but Edgar Lungu was investigated for being Malawan. Yes, guys. Acting President Guy Scott sent immigration officers to Edgar Lungu's aunt in Petaoke to investigate Edgar Lungu's links to Malawi. Kwebati bapombo bali kwata babululu kuishiri
vamuncha febo kuti twalanda twafuma kuri vakongo mwevo chishinka namba
vamwerwa. Okay, thank you. Ndapo ni old history yo. And about it, if you have your own relative apapene turerana. Sabari kuishiria. Kuti mwakana.
Volume ya Rwanda.
Mukwai kukana vapombo.
yaluba na volume nshire mshachumfa wanje shachira bumfa wa munsha machira bumfa mwebo
vachipusha ati kuti mwakana ngavasame vati munoendo pashimi kuchiri kushirya
iyo kukana tetinkane kwaina kuti naranda fyati kwenanga mwamona fepa menso ndolesheni fepa menso ndemonekango mwina ngumbo nango ndemo wakasoseka namwipusha mulembo bushe panu nga mwamona pamenso apa mulembo napo mwina ngumbo nango mona mabo wa Kongo mwebo
kwava kuti waishi vachani fweve na Zambia
amafuta amusha amafuta tapani
amafuta futi
mukwainde muna muvefyonse fiviri ikaviri ndemwena pakati muzvitoshi
iyo imwe vapo ngatiwavula imwe vapo motowamitwala kukatanga
emukwae ao okulanda fe chachine kwena nganaesa kuholide balinji katapo emikwibiri ba munsha muri basi kairi ndenda n'amabasi ya abantu balinji katapo emikwibiri ba munsha ro banje bati yawe nikwisa mwafyalirwa nikwisa mwaere ku skulu bawe ishino ni bani nalanda ati nishi mulenje pusha fyonse fi ati tamule muri kabe na Zambia ala balinji
bapombo imwe muletwe okweba ati balimi kata muli basi ati mwafyalirwa kwisana bawishi pamushini pesa
muri basi n'abantu bamfunyana muri basi bamfunyana panse bamfunyana pali bamfunyana muri basi bamfunya panse bamfunya ati seni kuno ati nimwe wanaishi na mwe bantu imwe mwanza osika mwanza pombo nomba imwe okay nikwisa kumaire ku ati nikwisa mwaire ku secondary school mwe bantu chiwala boarding school kundola kuchiwala kulia chiwala ngaba ba president ba Zambia ni wanani nati kwena mwe bantu alabali njipushapo emyaka ibiri oro
bapombo
oro naisa ishi mwanje kushishefi oro banje batyawe tamule moneka pamenso ngabe na Zambia abantu bachiraranda ati muneni barabekere paratebe na Zambia
nomba tamagwete ko mulomfi muchola nga mafunisha fyo mulomfi ati yawe ndo wakuiswe
mwebo mutaoni mulomvi mwebo mutaoni mulomvi mutaoni
and we are following the results of the Kabwata by-election. Right now, the only credible source, one of the credible sources, is our own Hudson Mabeta's collection of results, which are showing that the UPND's candidate is leading by 2,500 votes with 9 polling stations remaining. These results remain unofficial until the final tally is done at the tallying center. And so we are trying to follow through this and debate as we are going as to how Kabwata has become this tight. Perhaps it's a warning to the UPND as well to say that we can't take anything for granted.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So some of the things is that nationality damaged the candidate for the UPND, our candidate. That he was damaged by all those allegations, but nearly a lot of people have faced those allegations. Lubinda is one of them who has faced those allegations, or maybe it's something different. For Lubinda and Tayengwa, what would be different? Chishi baba babikapo. Bachirufya ni momo babikapo ba Charles Msonda. Nangu ni bamwero.
I think it must be my Mr. Patrick.
Okay. Vale tukana tuishi dogs huko.
Matimbo aisha to celebrate zero.
I clicked on him by mistake. I wanted to read his message.
Oh, okay.
Awanga mwachibaleka na ifutwa wawesesha kalichali na mailo ati yo naliye banyera bali abantu.
mulebe bukisho ko baja papa ni bapombo mulebe bukisha tipali bapombo mafia mpombo so bachenjele twalaleke mpombo inye amafia yengi mwebo
Bamusha
Empire bachirufe.
Ifefya mitundu ifyati ife wampombo bachanda tibali beminika po muri basi. Ine ero twale chita campaign for MMD kufunyapo ba UNIP. Ba UNIP to abapesha amano kukitwe. So kwisaisa nomulandu watine ndu wa Kongo balanchita deport ku Kongo.
If fine.
Bali shera kunganda bashushushu.
But what was
twice I'm good to warn ngawachita continue. That was in 1990 towards the end. Yaromba nani MMD yaba hot now. You know, Multi Party, yeah. Bankonkela kunganda bamusha. Ubushiku pakati kabushiku. Ba intelligence ba UNIP. We know we work Congo. So ngawachita continue to arakushita deport. Now bamusha, little did they know that one of my uncle is late now. Mr. Museva was actually their boss. So I told my grandfather, Mr. Museva, Imweba Museva, mfweni barefo kunchita deported in the work.
Mr. Pakapango kwa ulomushi.
Hello baya beba papel paka underscore bali paka underscore kai ba sambola kunganda ba ditana ku office kumia ko paka underscore pakito pali ba shushush nomba na ba sosela the next thing ba chita apologize.
Okay, kwali ukwata kweshuko mwali kwete kwa bali
so ngabali chita deport ba munshati u Congo kusha kwata kona ba blue bandyawo.
Ansonga chali shopa imwe bachirufya awo ngamwali chitafiti bwino kainge chirufya rishina lya kuishiria lyabena katanga abene kainge ngatwavika mune chivemba chako yesu tutirati kirufya kanshi
I know. Hello bamusha, seriously we've got some relatives abaidi akale kulubumbashi. No, but the problem kuyabasanga kuyabachita stress.
Mulenda dakane ba kirufya nemwe akale even if you're honest, not if you're akale
imwe bamusha kulya kumnani kumansa na kulwapula abantu bali amukubomba kulubombashi kwali life kulya
kainge chonde kana ine chakulanda ati akale imwe kulanda pia na lero dine abululu
eko baba no papa kuyabasanga bachona eno bampombola bakasonsoti bashindika
awe inenga chakwe bati mwansaliro ko bati mushindike nindishi banefya kusanga endupwa ukaka fefi kwembe umisana pa market no kwamba kushana bamona imishani nebelewo manyi ukamaza bamitwana pamushi apo bashana yali amasha
inebo nkaleta maoringi amachungwa inebo nkaleta amachungwa mwebo tamwaga chungwa
yeah Yeah. Ichiwe mapokateka kabiri naita ndipo chonse chitatishesa mukuchita bukwe mu Zambia. So kwalabo kwampana bwino sana.
Sure.
Nali umfa last week nalipokera phone last week kwa bati nangu nishindupo shawo kukuwina tata na vakaonde vakuzairi navo navesa ati tuchite business nomba natumfa naveswa business natkwata ma opportunities so fyara kumbinkana bwino sana nomba
because for the first time the foreign policy here President Hakainde Hichilema is when he calls the people of Katanga not as smugglers but as customers.
Yes.
That's a huge shift.
Yes.
Anyway, if that is the case, that is Congo. What about Malawi? Malawans integrate very peacefully. Kanchita kuba no kutunganya bena Malawi ngabaingira because it's sealed, and so we are very proud of our heritage. Bena Malawi. Number the thing against Tayengwa appeared to have stuck. And that's over what they did. Anyway, what else could have contributed to the performance of our candidate?
I think the voter apathy Musha. Most by-election call about voter apathy.
No, but here is my concern. If you say voter apathy, this already is about 40,000 votes. That's not apathy. 40,000 out of 110,000, that's not apathy.
Yeah, but Vamunsha, people are saying vote apathy because Kabwata is one of those constituencies in Zambia, especially in Lusaka, which is one of those more which has a lot of a population. So it is recognized in this case, in this sense. You win also in Kabwata. I think you have some margin and you have a very good percentage in vote insofar as vote is concerned in Lusaka. So if that is the case of Kabwata now, to have those results are receiving, that's why I think that's why they're saying there has been some voter apathy.
It's 40,000 against 110,000 voter apathy in a by-election. My submission is I don't think so.
Vamusha, let me bite the bullet and say what we are not saying. People are also disillusioned with the pace of the change they voted for. You know, Mozambia Vantunga Vavota, they expect certain dramatic changes in their way of life.
Yes. You're right.
And that hasn't been forthcoming since August.
Yeah.
And two, there is a way in which the cost of the changes in the prices of fuel was used against the government, the ruling party. If you ever got to Mitengo, minibus, and things like that. So there is we should think about the feelings about the pace at which the change the people voted for is being implemented and how they're feeling it. Because the opposition is too close. It's too close, Vamusha. I'm thousands, but PF Tawakwetena leader, Tawakwetena president. They shouldn't be this close.
No,
you know?
You're right.
They shouldn't be this close. So there's a lot of propaganda and maligning of the new government. Some of it should be about the pace at which the change is being perceived on the ground.
Yeah. Now, Andrew, I want you to chip in a little bit here. Did you see that the party has been hurt by these past changes?
Yeah, I think it has, because they just like Dr. Kasons was said, there's been a lot of propaganda towards the increase of petrol, cost of living yalisa yakopa muru, bintu yalisa rubana kopa no para pakati exchange rate yabo elele as expected. So those are some of the things that happened, and some of these criminals are still on the streets. So there's that feeling, that perception that maybe UPND is just the same as PF. That's what some people say. When you meet them, they say these parties are all just the same. Why UPND are PF vamove? Naturally, I'm PF number one kukira mu UPND. So what difference are we making? We're not making any difference. So there could be that perception. Yeah, it could be another reason why maybe the things have turned out this way.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely could be the case. Moelwa, how are you looking at the changes and how people are perceiving them?
I think, like Mr. Andrew Butcher has said, there's a lot of propaganda that's going very unexplained by our current administration. I think they are more concentrated on working, that sometimes they're forgetting to maybe counter some claims. But I think when you're talking about the voter apathy, like, I'll give you an example. Where the president was on Sunday, that is what you call, is it Jack Compound? So the Kamlanga area, we had gone to church. That is
Right.
more, that is so highly densely populated, to the point that when we have elections, that place is voting way past certain times. So that's where some of this, like, apathy, people are able to say this. People didn't go to vote. You didn't see any lines. You didn't see any craziness. And again, I suppose there's an issue that people have to go to work. And these are peri-urban areas. So if people went to work in the morning and they were coming back at what time? So what time could they go and vote? That kind of thing. Whereas when you're going for a full-on national election, people are given time off and they can go and vote and come back. So the numbers are very low on this end, where I can see, and I can say, well, that there is some apathy of sorts. But I don't think it's as a result of people not wanting to vote deliberately. It just might be that they had to go to work.
Okay, so Kabwata constituency has okay, so it has Livala, Chilenje, Kamwala,
Yes.
and Livala, Chilenje, Kamwala, and which
The bordering of Lilai.
and Kabwata itself, and then you are calling the other name Kamlanga.
The Kamlanga area, yes, that's bordering on, slightly off Kamwala South, coming towards Lilai. So that one is a high dense populated area.
All these are Mayadi, is that correct?
No, it's not Mayadi.
Okay, so which one is not
it's
Mayadi?
Perry. The same Kamlanga I'm on about. That's JK or Jack Compound.
Okay.
Where Mr. Lungu comes from, yeah.
But do we have a lot of people there? Can they beat Livala? Can they beat Chilenje?
Absolutely. There's so many people there. It's a shanty. In most places, it's shanty. Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to avoid using that terminology because it's politically incorrect. I don't know.
In Zambia, we're very lucky we don't have politically correct terms, and so when you're here, that meter is a bit switched off.
Mapoloto huge a voter area?
I beg your pardon?
I'm trying to check with Andrew about Mapoloto.
Mapoloto niko kumanani niko. There's Chilenje extends into Mapoloto and also Livala. After this, what we're calling Ring Road, there's that area now. It stretches going that side. That's a Mapoloto.
And it is an informal settlement as well, right?
Yes, but that one is relatively mild. It's not high. It's not a high density area. It's relatively low density area. But we still have high density around the Chilenje market. That Chilenje market, that area, it's relatively high density. that area, especially near the markets, near the filling station there, behind, going that way. It's a mixture. Up to
now going forward. And so now going forward, with this result is likely to be very close. What are the lessons for the UPND? Moelwa.
I think the first thing is to be a bit more strategic. I always think that sometimes they are at a loss maybe to pick who can stand for them, and sometimes they go very I think is it celebrity or well known, and they forget that it's a bit of a popularity contest. So I think there's a bit of a lack in strategy sometimes.
Okay, and so you see that. Okay, so going forward, what does UPND need to do?
I mean, to be very strategic on who they pick, and the person should be quite known. Because I mean, Mr. Tayengwa would tell you that, all right, I did this and I did that and I did this and I did that, and people didn't know of him, or they had heard of him but didn't even know that was his last name. He's a common person, but they don't know his name. And then finally they get to know his name, and they're now questioning the name as well. So I think and then areas are equally different. I mean, Kabwata is already very well known. It is very well based on the fact that Mr. Given Luinda was the MP there for quite a while. So automatically it's like you're going against already a set history, and you're not known. And that's where I'm edging towards when I talk about strategy, that you look for somebody that is probably as known, because I'm thinking why didn't Mr. Mwaliteta just stand? He would have been perfect against already being known in the area, kind of thing.
Okay, thank you for that. With Mwaliteta standing, I think that would have been perfect. Andrew, what should
I think we just need to work hard and make sure we deliver on the promise. What do we do next? Just continue working hard and deliver on the promises that we've made to the people of Zambia. I think that's what will help us fight corruption, make sure we recover the stolen money, improve the standard of living of our people, make sure education is free up to university. That's what we promised the people. So let's work hard and deliver those variables.
All right.
I think that will help us going forward.
What should the UPND do, Professor Kasonso?
A few things, Ramusha. Number one, never getting tired of explaining themselves to the people and driving the point. You know, political success, a lot of times, it's all about putting a whistle behind your actions. What you're doing can be good, but it's how you are communicating to the people about what you're doing. Blow their own horn and their own whistle. Ngavachita akantu akanono fina kanono kuyaye abantu kachita blow out of proportion abantu vango utekwe kuchitireki. And then kwavefya shupa, for example, pafyama filiaka mutengo kaya ko pamulo akakulipira makama transport. You know, no, there should have been a way to explain to the people that not only that vafunishe shendarama kumafiwa, but shendarama tabatwele kulia esho balipirira abana mu masukulu. We know that's what they did, but communicate that to the country and blow the information out of proportion that actually usukulu really free, but abantu abaletsa contribute nifira fine balipira kwa kanono akakuya kuli bus akafe akakwerako. So the UPND should just learn to communicate better, not one speech, not one talk. They should deploy lots of surrogates to speak about the things they are doing, what the government is doing, and so that they are heard on the ground and respond line on line, punch for punch. Different surrogates. They don't have to get people in the government, but even just different surrogates within the system of the UPND support structure and the media establishment.
Right.
We do our bit here on Wakwetu to try and explain some things, but I think those type of voices should be multiplied so people know what they are doing and what is going on. What we have in place is a great government, is a good government that is doing well. I heard my Lenje sister here say, "Bo wina my elections, bo valela GC." You know, bo wina my elections, never take a chalo. So, mommy take it.
Mbebalela GC.
Mbebalela GC. Yeah. So, valela GC. Bafire baiwa abantu valela GC. You know, constantly blowing those messages, not just themselves who are in the government positions, but using various strategic surrogates across the political spectrum. I think that will help. And also, ababa kwetekwe milando wa MPF, yes, ama bondi na vale vachitabuno vale vapera. Bambi ama bondi vela vapera. So that, tule monako kwe bati, you know, baleba milando baleka kwako not balesa mkwangala nga bafu bamuli kwa trechefisera, you know, aba milando bafire bale ikatwa no kakwa bale kwata kwa katina kakwa Yehova na katina kabuteko, you know. So you know, filamu naka kwati kule bafyo kubuta no kwangala, you know. Filamu naka kubuta kati panupo twikere pachipanda pali ubuteko abale teka bale teka, you know. But I'm a politics, I'm a opposition, I'm a politics, I actually shine chisankano, you know, kateka balamusenda kwati mufyara wabo, nangute mufyara wabo, balamusenda fe, no, teko tufiro kubefe, tufiro kule wako wakati naka kwaresa, mumikarire, you know, mumikarire, effort wike, nangu muli democracy, na mufiro mwabako no mchinshi. So in everything, I'm gonna go at it. If you tufiro chabako, in summary, communication about what government is doing. Indala mashari ya kuma constituencies. If we Kwata, what is happening in the constituencies? I don't know which other voices are talking about that in other spectrums. They need to blow the horn on what they are doing in the constituencies. And I think if I was running the campaign, there was a healthy point that they made that but PF and 25 million. If I was running the campaign in Kabwata, I would drive that on every media, on billboards in people's homes. So I think there must be shrewdness in our political operatives on the UPND side. Yeah, that's what I think.
All right, thank you. Vapombo.
Mwipa mute Vapombo.
Hey, Mkwai ba panelist na ba munsha bonse. I think inefo na mona ya ma elections ifo ya sama results ya msango yu. I already observed, you know, the question of the candidate, of course, me, I've already said it, even at the beginning. The gentleman, when you compare it with the other guy on the PF seat, I think it was not, well, we cannot compare the two people, definitely. Objectively speaking, I'm saying. But I respect both candidates, our candidate and the other people's candidate. I respect both of them. But I think it was a bit complicated. So the second thing, Vamunsha, observe what has happened just in this period. Kwarisa is, okay, Monen, Kuzambia, kuli kesi ya Forest 27. Don't take that case so simply, so easily. There is a question of Forest 27, and there came another case of Southern Zambezi. It was which me personally, I am against. I am totally against. I am not going to enter into these details, but Bamunsha, this case, Isa, in the midst of the campaign, it was so confusing. I want to buy who allowed the minings, who did this, who did that, who did that. But did HH really allow mining in southern Zambezi? It was a little bit of confusion. I'm telling you because these are the guys who are telling me from Lusaka. They were telling me, but you support these guys, but look at what is happening. And I went out to say, well, I think in Alalanda UNESCO, instead of going for mining in the southern Zambezi, please come on, let's fight so that they can declare the place. It's a beautiful place. Let the UNESCO give the funds in southern province. These guys, so the suspicion party candidate was 1, the question of Forest 27, 2, the question of southern Zambezi. Bamunsha fyali sayingira fyonse balelanda ati bambira okulanda ati your government is playing tricks on you. And how Bamunsha, how do I respond kuri abama guys bamukukulu awe nshabete bamukukulu? Anyway, these are the guys aba muri ba PF and the like. But even if our president Hakainde Hichilema during the campaign was absolutely against the mining in the southern province, we don't have to take this so lightly. Actually, we don't have to take it so lightly. That's my observation. Thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. So we are going now to end our broadcast because we still have not gotten the final unofficial results, but it appears like the UPND's candidate is leading very comfortably. It's a tight race, but from just using common sense, even if more common sense, just using common sense, the 9 polling stations remaining, we cannot confidently assign a margin of 200 votes for the polling station in order for the PF candidate to overtake the UPND candidate. And so we can safely say that the UPND is leading and is likely to win a narrow victory tonight. As to what all this means, we are going to leave it up to you, or perhaps for us to take a few more days to reflect on what this means. You've heard our preliminary thoughts from Welwa, from Don Oscar, from Andrew Butcher, and from Professor Kasonso. The one who has not given us his preliminary thoughts is Patrick Chilopia. But if, for example, in the next hour or so we get the final projection, we are going to come back and make another discussion. Otherwise, this has been a presentation of TV Bakwetu, and we were looking at the Kabwata results. Now, as we close, we are going to continue with Baserenje's Thank you for joining us. God bless you. God bless our country. Ati nemu inedika for wako.
Mukinya.